Zayt and Saf in their final game that they won to win FNCS Grand Finals. Now, these two have been amazingly consistent throughout their careers, both as duo and solo players, but most notably, the two together are arguably the best duo of all time. So we'll see a few things that they do here. I'm going to go ahead and get this started. What I want to point out here is they landed Sweaty Sands for most of the games, but they clearly did their homework in between or after games to see that this entire middle area here was uncontested. So they're going to be able to grab this entire area of loot, plus Zayt tails off to get a llama down here by the river, as well as this heavy sniper area. And then after they loot this, they're going to go ahead and grab Sweaty Sands as well. So in this final game, they had a huge area and loot to grab, which is incredible and speaks to their preparation, knowing that they're not going to be contested in this area. Also their awareness, because people could change up their game plans, but likely they saw that no one was there, decided to make this move. So tons of mats and a launch pad to start gives you much more time to loot up and cover more ground. So we'll speed past this. Nothing really crazy here. They're just looting. The only crazy thing is them being able to get essentially this whole area here. They don't loot all of Sweaty because they typically like to get out of there somewhat early, but they're at least able to get this east side and over. We'll see the furthest that a team comes in is going to be these guys right here. That's going to be Damien, but he doesn't push into Sweaty. They don't have anyone that can test them. They don't get into fights here. But just wanted to show you guys that huge amount of loot here in the beginning. Now, the next point that we're going to go look after is that these guys are not going to take mid-game fights. They understand they need Storm Surge tags, but they know that you don't have to get in a fight in mid-game to get Storm Surge tags. So all of their tags are going to come from a distance, and I think we've seen that as the most successful plan to get Storm Surge tags, especially with the top-tier teams. So especially with this heavy sniper here, Zayt is able to hit a couple shots, and he does so for 150. He does not knock anyone, but even after hitting people for 150, they don't push that. They continue to work on their positioning. I think that's a key point to recognize, is even though they're getting players in a good position to possibly push, it's really not, considering you're trying to win the game. You're not trying to just simply win a mid-game fight. And we see them here, continuing to push for position, trying to stay ahead of everyone rotating. They know if they get in a good position early, the Storm Surge tags will become easier. So Zayt goes ahead, pushes forward, and then looks back for this other team. Able to get that 150 and just continue moving. Again, they're not trying to go for kills here. They're good on mats. They literally need nothing. If we look at their two loots, have whites, 6 minis apiece, a harpoon, a good shotty, a decent AR, and then even the heavy sniper. So utility, AR, shotty, all you need. And we'll see. I believe Zayt hits one more of these sniper shots here. But again, not going to push, not going to pressure, focus position, try and get yourself in the best position possible. And because they do that, and they're not pushing fights, they're able to see that a loot drop is just come down, able to take advantage of that, grab their second or third pad. Look like that's their third, and that's going to be the key to their success here. After the fourth zone here, they pad to each and every zone. And now not only are they loaded on pads, they're in a great position here in the second zone. No one's too close to them, so they're not going to have to worry about people psychoing them for Storm Surge. At this point in the game, it may come a little later when they reposition themselves. But what we'll see them do here is rotate this zone. Now we see they're on the edge. It's them right here. They're on the edge, but they know that being down in this position is not going to be advantageous for them to rotate to fourth zone. So instead of waiting here for the fourth zone to pop up and hoping they somehow get lucky again, which is almost impossible for them to get fourth zone, they're going to go ahead, put themselves up, gain some position here because you don't want to be low, and then you don't want to be the team that's trying to rotate here when everyone else is seeing you down below. Because most teams, if we look at the map, are already up here in zone, and they would have been one of the teams down below. So this is essentially putting yourself in a position to rotate the next zone. Don't know that I see tons of people do this, but as we know, Zayt and Saf are incredibly good at this game. They know to continue to put themselves in good positions to win. And that seems to be their thought process throughout this entire game is, we know what we need to do to win the game. Let's not wait for a certain point to try and risk it all. Let's play it safe. Let's do what we know we need to do and just continue to push forward. So 3 launch pads here. They know that they can basically make it anywhere in zone now that they're level with most of the lobby. Don't have to rotate too far here, so we'll see. Nothing crazy. Playing it very safe. The only peeks they're taking are out of a cone, so they're not editing anything. And they're just going to move in here. It's pretty characteristic of Saf and Zayt. You know, they get their Storm Surge tags early. They hit their snipes, get those tags on people at a distance. And then the only time they're really going to open up and shoot at people is if they feel there's a weakness or an opening. They're not just going to be opening up to take tags or to shoot at walls. They're only doing it if they feel that there's a reason to do it or they're able to get some damage there. But again, both of them just sitting in a cone. They're not making any edits to weaken their walls. It's a very smart play because now you're in fully built metal, and unless you're going to get heavy sniped, double RPG'd, it's going to be very difficult for someone else to take you down. And you see they're able to grab some extra loot here. And just a little note, we see Saf hopping in his cone to take that big pot with the double heavy snipers. That is very important. And now we'll see. Here is fifth zone. We're going to slow this down for the rest of this because not much action beforehand, but now we'll start to see the mastermind, the chess match that is late game in Fortnite. So 3 pads on them, and they're not going to wait to use them. We'll stay on Saf because he appears to be making the call, or stay on Zayt, I apologize. He appears to be making the calls here. They see their rotate. They're communicating that they're going to pad. Can't place a pad there because welcome to Fortnite. So going to have to go up a layer. Really changes nothing. But they're not going super high, so that way they can't get focused. And they know they can just pad again. So once they get out of the area where all the congestion is, they can use a high pad, put themselves in the part of zone that they want to be. Now, we'll notice here that almost all the teams are going to base up where 50-50 zone starts. So what do I mean by that? If I pause here, half of the zone is already in. So most of the lobby is going to be in the part of the zone that's already in. And what we see here from Zayt and Saf is continue to push into that part of zone that isn't in initially. So this is going to be the dead side of the zone, and it's going to give them a lot more flexibility and freedom to move around because there's not people all over them. More so, they're not even really using their old builds. This is someone else's material that they're waiting in. So really saving those materials for late game plays and only building what they need to. Now let's see how they rotate this 6th zone. But we'll see Zayt looking up at height because that is going to be a key to win the game. You need to understand what's going on above you. Otherwise, those people will control the lobby, control the match, and essentially control your destiny. But if you look up, if you put pressure on them, that's going to allow you to control your own destiny and possibly take height later in the game. You just have to look up occasionally and see what's going on. So 6 zone pulls, basically it's on them. What we see is they're going to wind up padding again. Saf is getting some refreshes here, giving some mats over to Zayt. And I believe, once again, they're going to take a low pad here, but since they're on that front side already of zone, they can wait a little bit before it moves. Okay, they don't take a low pad, but they are going to get on the front side here. Saf makes a great play and traps Ziff. We saw this a couple times from him in squads. He will trap people with cones and make great plays, basically doing excellent piece control, giving those players no shot. They get another launch pad so they can recycle it, and once again, they're on the front edge of this rotating zone. Seeing that now is the time they need to make a play for height, communicate that. Both looking up, both looking to pressure height, knock them down. Now that they know they're split, it's time to go. This team is not going to be able to pressure them when it's one-on-one, and we'll see Haz essentially just gives this up. So they made him use a decent bit of mats, were able to put pressure on him, and then they took zone. Or they took the high ground. I apologize. And not that it was free, because these guys worked for it, but that's a fairly easy high ground take because they were looking up, because they were making sure they were pressuring above. And let's switch over to Zayt, because what we'll see them do once they have height is cover or split the zone. And tons of heals on both of them, so they're not necessarily worried about taking some damage. We'll see Zayt is constantly pressuring from in the storm, and then he's also going to be looking back in the storm. They don't want to lose this game because someone makes a flopper play to come on top of them from inside of storm. So Saf has the front edge. He's making sure he's tarping them in. Zayt is going to continue to watch in storm, make sure no one can put that pressure on, which is so vital in these late games, especially with the floppers. We see it close it out. Saf continues to pressure ahead, keep the high ground. Now they're splitting high too, so it's not only one level that someone has to overcome, it's multiple levels. And we'll see once again here, Zayt's going to look back, see that AV is behind him, win that fight. And this isn't even the only person that comes in from behind. Blake tries to make a play, but it's too late. Zayt and Saf clutch this one out, and that is as picture perfect as it gets. To play that from beginning of that game all the way through the end, using your launch pads, not being too hesitant to use your loadout too early, but also saving things when you know you can. It's a great use of their economy and a great understanding of the game. My hat's off to these guys. You know, they're one of the best, arguably, of all time, and they showed it in this game throughout all of FNCS. You know, there's a lot to learn from these guys, so I would go ahead and suggest looking back at their other games, see what else you can find in these games. This was a picture-perfect one in my mind, so a lot to take away from here, but I thank you guys for watching. This is Somebody's Gun. Feel free to like, subscribe, and follow, and I will see you guys next time.